Okay, we went to a show yesterday in Fawn Grove, Pennsylvania, and for the first time in a few years I got out some garden tractors. That's fall show over there is pretty much a garden tractor show. Took these three along with a 646 I'm going to try and sell that I acquired. We'll start left to right. This here is the first garden tractor I acquired. We had already been collecting Case farm toys for some time, but this is the first real Case tractor that I got my hands on. I should probably say it was bought in the fall of 1993. I was 11 years old at the time. It's a 1972 Case 220, bought in consignment sale at Churchville, Maryland. I believe it was a one-owner tractor. It was put in there with some attachments and different things. The only thing we bought was shouldn't say we, Dad bought it and surprised me. It was had a 38-inch mower deck with it, which I still have for it. Took me a couple years to buy anything else besides this one. I think it was probably about 95 or 96 until I had the second one, which is no longer here. But this tractor is a K241A Kohler engine in it, single cylinder. It's hydraulic drive. Everything's all original in the tractor. Tires, and everything. The only thing that was reupholstered was the seat. It was done to match the original design of the vinyl seat. The pan on it's still the Sears pan. Case had bought the seat from Sears Seat Company. The sickle bar mower that's on it is Didier made in Racine. It's D-I-D-I-E-R, be a French name, not Didier as I hear people pronounce it. But 4 foot. This one kind of found us. We have a neighbor that lives about a half a mile away, and her father years ago was a Case garden tractor dealership down in Manchester. This mower they had still in their families. It was brought to the dealership and they were never able to sell it, so her brother took the thing home and used it around the pond for a couple of years, and sat around ever since. And probably about, I'd say 97, 98, she stopped by the house one day and asked us if we'd have any interest in it. Went and looked, made sure it was going to fit something we had, and it's been on this tractor ever since. This thing hasn't gone anywhere in a while, so I haven't really done a whole lot with it. I ought to try and polish it up, but as I said, it's all original. It does have a snag where it had tire chains on it at one time. It came with a sleeve hitch. I still have the linkage for the sleeve hitch. And I've never really taken it off. I mean, it's pretty much a very clean, all original 1972 Case 220. The Hydra-Sickle there's never been painted or anything either as well. It's original as it sits. The Hydra-Sickle is independently driven, but it's hydraulic. It's got a hydraulic motor that runs off the PTO clutch up front and powers another one, which is actually identical. The pump and the motor are the same, so I should say that's the pump up front, and that's the motor there, but they're the same unit. One's just creating pressure, one's delivering the pressure to the sickle bar. And it will run 100%, it'll run at 90 degrees vertical, or it'll run level. It does not matter, nor does it care. But that's what we have there. We'll move on to some other ones that have been kept. This is a 1976 case 446. It's a Spirit of 76. They did not build these as production, you could say. It is a tractor that was created to pull parade floats in the Racine, Wisconsin parade in 1976. There's dealer issued magazine that Case put out that shows pictures of at least 3 of these, and I've seen 3 of them that are real, this being one of them, and there's rumored to be a 4th in Wisconsin, in Iowa. It's in Iowa. There is one of them in Wisconsin, but the one I've not seen is in Iowa. This tractor also came from Iowa. The other 2 that are known have come out of Wisconsin, so 2 states, and all 4 have been found in. They now reside in Iowa, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, which is where I'm at. This tractor was restored by Dan Rowe in Iowa that I purchased it from, and I shouldn't really say it's restored so much as a cosmetic restoration. He reworked the paint and decals. This thing was originally purchased from the dealer it wound up at by a church group in Iowa, and they put a loader on it and used it with the loader. I have the loader, as I wanted to keep it with the tractor. I just took it off in interest of the tractor. It's best to really not be on there, because these really aren't built for loaders. The front ends are too lightweight, but it was used as a loader tractor to move snow and do different things around the church property. Everything you see is just the way Case did it. There's some technicalities I'll explain that perhaps could have been done better, but one I'll probably leave alone anyhow. But the Case decal on the side here, that should be actually level. It's not supposed to go with the stripe on the side. And the seat is not. That was a creation by the gentleman that restored it. It shouldn't be like that at all. It shouldn't be blue on the back either. It should actually be just a plain black seat, although I will admit what he did probably looks much more attractive than the stock off-the-shelf seat that Case put on them. The dash decal, this tractor was restored at a time when Maple Hunter, who does decals now, was not reproducing the decals for the dash. One of these days I'll buy one and put one on, but this is actually a dash decal for a late 83, 1984 Case tractor, and that was all that Ingersoll had available to put on it at the time, and he added a little flag to it. But otherwise, what is paint should be paint, and what is decals should be decals. It's decal in the back, large Case that was on it. The stars and the red stripes are decals. I believe the blue on the back here, yes, that's a decal, but the blue up on the hood is paint, along with the stars up on the hood are painted on. That is just the way they did it from Case. I think they are. No, those are actually decals. I have the original hood, and I know which was pretty much trash, so he got a new hood and put it on this. The loader did not do it any favor. The fenders are originals, but yeah, so the stars and the red stripes are decals. The blue is paint, except for the blue on the rear fenders. But not that I'm inviting anybody to duplicate one, because even if you do, you won't have a real one. The serial numbers on these are just as if they pulled them off the line. They're right together with each other, the 4 that are out there. So everything you see is pretty much, there's no real build cards for any of these garden tractors, but when you have serial numbers that close together, and tractors that were found and restored by people that never met each other and wound up being identical in the end, they're legit. And there's only 4. Like I said, I'll probably have a chance to see the 4th one next year. In this case, there's a case show the gentleman that has it is hosting, so I should have the opportunity to go out and see it in person. It does have the PTO valve on the tractor. That was originally, on this one, used, they plumbed the loader through the PTO valve and powered it off of the PTO valve. This has a BFMS splash lubricated 2-cylinder Onan engine, which Case used up until 76. 77 they went to the pressure lubricated engine, tended to last longer. And this motor's never been rebuilt. Since I just purchased this tractor as it is, I haven't taken the time to bother to do anything with it. One day I have parts to do it. It should be refreshed, so you know, it runs fine. It starts and has power, and you get a slight haze out of the exhaust after it runs for a while. But for a tractor that might see 3 hours out of the year running time, if that, you know, it's not high on the priority list. So that's the Spirit of 76 tractor. Next I have, if I have anything left around here that's a toy, this would probably qualify. In the early 90s, Ingersoll made an effort to build a tractor that was intended for the European market, which I found out during a plant tour. And I really don't know if any of these ever made it overseas. I doubt it. There seems to be a number of them here. This is a 1993 4118D, and the D is diesel. It has a 18 horsepower 3-cylinder liquid-cooled Perkins diesel in it. I believe that was the smallest size of the Perkins it made at the time. It's a 100 series engine. I've done a few things to it here. When I got it, it had a 60-inch mower deck on it, turf tires, standard 8/16 turf tires, and I think mismatched front turfs on it. And we've put all the tires on it, been switched around. The gash on the dash here, some of the gauges, he had the temperature gauge and the oil pressure gauge for the idiot lights unhooked. So somebody that has put a gauge, I don't know if you call it a cluster or it's just 2 gauges. There was oil pressure and a temperature gauge on the dash. I mean, well, it's actually up on the hood, but since there's 5 bolts, or well, 5 holes, 4 bolts through the hood, I haven't touched it or tried to remove it because it means welding the hood and painting it, and you can't get decals, and decals would be pricey, and I'm not viewing this as I take it to shows, but it's kind of a toy as well. It gets used. If you have one of these, you probably know they are not, because of low production, this is one of 111. They also made a small wheeled 12-inch tired versions of 3118D. They've had 37 of those they built. I've owned 4 total. This is the only 4118D. I've owned 3 3118Ds out of the 37. These here, however, are generally more expensive to buy and harder to come by, because once people have them, they don't think they let them go. Larger wheeled tractor, and it does have a power difference over the same 18 horsepower that's in a 2-cylinder gas engine, the Onan at the time. It's just night and day the way it runs. Not only that, I think the main factor is the pumps on it. It's a dual chamber pump on it, and it's larger. This is has the largest pump that Ingersoll ever put on a garden tractor. The 3118D and the 4118D both had that pump. Just as coincidence, if I ever would have one go up, I have a spare of the factory pump that I was able to acquire. The tires on the back, I said, were 1816s originally. These are not. These here, let's see if I can read these. These are 2912 by 15. Now, say they're not right. Actually, they were built by Case, or it could have been Ingersoll at the time. I've seen these, I think I've seen 3 sets of them. I know a gentleman says he has a set that was new and never put on. But these were made as an optional kit, and if you look in the rear, they have spacers. The spacers space the wheels out maybe about 3 inches away from the fenders, so you can put these wide tires on. It's all factory, all done by Case at the time. I did this set actually came off of an 85 446. Friends of mine have a dealership in Wisconsin, and I walked in there a couple years ago, and here's this tractor with the wrong engine in it and there's wheels. I don't want anything to do with the tractor, but I'd love to have the wheels. I had the notion right there to put these on this tractor. Actually, I just put them on the other day. There's not, I haven't been on here long. I don't know whether I'm going to get lugs for it or if I'm going to try and, I kind of just like the way it appears with the turf tires. They may stay. That and the other excuse would be the fact that a set of lugs for this would probably be fairly pricey. I might go and break down the tires eventually, because this one on the right hand side is on the rim backwards, so the tread's not really directional, but it makes a better appearance if you have the thing going the wrong right direction, and these right now aren't. But this is what it is. But I've got a bunch of wheel weights on it. I'll probably take a couple of those off. I just transferred them over from the other rims because I do have a 3-point plow I put on it. I actually had the other tires sitting over there, or what was on it, but I would plow with it, and I just started piling weights on it until the thing quit slipping in the furrow. So now it doesn't slip, but then I can't really plow with those tires on it either. But it gives the tractor a whole another stance, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say most likely it's the only tractor, no, only 4118D out there with a set of tires on it that wide that he said they're factory. You know, at the time you really probably couldn't order a set of those, but I brought factory parts together from different time periods and put it on there. Same thing as the weights up front. They're older Case weights, but you could actually get Ingersoll weights at the time. They just don't say anything on them. These here say Case on them. But I think probably the biggest attraction to these things is the sound of it. It didn't start the other two. They're nothing special, but we'll start this one. Wait for the glow plugs. These things are very cold-blooded. If you do not use the glow plug, they will not start. Not exactly a gas engine as far as sound. Shouldn't mention I added a 3-point hitch to this tractor as well, so it's fairly well set up, and being all hydraulic model already has the 2 outlets there mounted under the seat. Ignore the lines. I'll lift the hood on it just for the heck of it. It's not a normal gas engine. Yeah, there's the lines and the extra gauges. Perkins is not the easiest engine to find parts for in the U.S. here, but as I said, this tractor was intended to be in the European market, which I had no knowledge of until I saw until I went to the factory and spoke to some people there at the factory. But it's kind of a novelty piece. This is one of 111, and I'm in quite a good area for this. There's a dealer to the south of me in Maryland that is selling these things because Ingersoll pretty much priced themselves out of the market. You're looking at something that was $10,000 probably with a mower deck years ago in '93. They built a handful in '92. They were just pretty much prototypes too. But he was selling them at a loss to Ingersoll when he was in Maryland, and I've known he's had 2 or 3 of them come back to him over the years. And this tractor did not come from, I don't know what dealer this came from. This was bought out around Pittsburgh at doing an auction online. But this is pretty much the height of Ingersoll tractor design to this day. They've never exceeded anything this tractor has. They've never done another diesel. It's all hydraulic. There's never been anything put out with a different, bigger pump. The power steering that came out on the all hydraulic tractors has been put on models to this day. That's about what they've kept. But there you go. There's the 3 of them I had over at the show yesterday.